Welcome back to the Indie Author Blueprint podcast. I'm Michelle and I'm your host. Today we're tackling a question that comes up at this time of year. Should you publish a book in December? Before I answer that question, I want you to know that if you're listening for the very first time, Indie Author Blueprint lives on Substack. So if you are looking for more resources than just the podcast, you'll have to go over to Substack and look for Indie Author Blueprint. Okay, so let's answer the question, should you publish a book in December? Short answer, it depends. December can be a strategic choice for some authors. It can be a frustrating disaster for others. So here's the twist. January isn't automatically better either. There are trade-offs for both months, so we're going to talk through those. It's important to evaluate who you're writing for, what their purchasing habits are, and all of that before you make the decision. I've worked with authors who have done both, some who have published in December. I myself have also published in December, but then I've also waited until January. And just a caveat to note that if you hit publish on January 1 on KDP, your book could actually be marked as published the day before. I don't know why, but one of the reasons sometimes people want to wait is that they want their book to have the most current year on the copyright. So they'll wait until the beginning of January and then hit publish so that like right now we're in 2025, your book would have a 2026 publishing date and it looks more current when people are shopping than if it looks like last year's book. So that's one of the strategies people sometimes use. But I have found that when I hit publish, it sometimes gets marked as the day before. So I don't recommend doing it on January 1st, just so you know. I recommend waiting till at least the 2nd if you're trying to get the date as the next year. Okay, so that was my tip for now. But let's look at why December seems appealing, a time to publish a book. A lot of indie authors imagine December as a magical sales month. Like, I got to get my book out there because people are shopping and they're spending money, and books make great gifts. But the reality is, December is not usually a great month for a debut indie author hoping for visibility or momentum. And so here's why. We'll look at a couple of reasons. First, KDP print is often backed up. It's right now when I log in, some days I get a notice saying, there are unexpected wait times on some things. Now, on other things, I had a client recently who needed to reach out to customer service and they were fairly quick with it, but other people have experienced delays. That means the approval time on your book might take longer. If it says up to 72 hours, it might take the full 72. I have noticed in the past that whenever I'm ordering books in like from mid-November to December, the shipping is slower. The printing process takes the full amount of time. Like it might take 2 weeks or even less at one point in the year. And during holiday shopping season, it tends to take the full 3 weeks if they estimate that. I have had packages go missing in December. And so I'm reordering stuff and trying to get it in time. And so there can be some customer frustration and some publisher frustration if you're looking for fast delivery on those print sales or the author copies that you're shipping out. So December can be really unpredictable. The other thing is that holiday shopping really isn't about discovering new authors. People are buying, but they're typically buying things that are already on their lists. They're buying things by authors they know. They've been saving up their gift lists and they have, they know what they're going for. They have things that are curated in the big gift guides or in their Black Friday shopping guide or whatever comes out. So discovery is really low and brain bandwidth tends to be low. So even if your book looks fantastic, the timing can just work against you if they just don't have the bandwidth to look at a new book and discover a new author or take a risk. So that is something for you to be aware of, that you're going up against a lot of other things that are on people's minds. And the third thing is that December is really a loud month when it comes to what input your shoppers are receiving. You're competing first with Black Friday. I'm recording this and that's passed already. Cyber Monday is passed as I'm recording this, but the year-end sales, the nonprofit campaigns. I just saw a whole bunch of Giving Tuesday campaigns that went out, and the follow-ups to those are going out, the holiday promotions, the end of year donation requests. People's inboxes are full, their social media is full, and they have a lot on their to-do list. So there's all this noise that your launch is competing with. So you're entering a crowded room and shouting, "Look at me, I'm over here." So December's not always a great time to release a book. However, it can be a smart time. It isn't all risk, and there are some reasons for why even some well-known authors from traditional publishers are releasing in December. So, first is that there may be a strategy where you're releasing an ebook and you're not relying on delivery and printing. It isn't as big of a deal if you're releasing an ebook first or an ebook only because you're not hinging on that timing. So December is less stressful if that's part of your strategy. The other part of a strategy that's important is if you're trying to position your book for a January theme, like fresh start, productivity, um, health and weight loss, there are certain themes that show up in January. And so, whether it's business or personal strategy, there's a lot of that start the new year. And so, you might be building pre orders and maybe you're, like maybe throughout November, you're doing pre-orders if you're setting up that way. Remember, KDP doesn't do that. So you'd be using Ingram Spark if you were collecting print pre-orders. If you were trying to gather reviews, warming up your audience a little bit for a immediate release in January, or if it's a book that it needs to release before January because it starts on January 1st. Like if you have a 90-day reset that begins on New Year's Day, your people need the book in their hands before that. So you might be releasing it in time for them to order a book. So there's a reason for why you might need to release in January. This works the best if you already have an established audience. Your email subscribers, or you're writing on a topic and you have a lot of followers who are on the edge of their seats waiting for you to release your next book. It's loyal fans. It could be fiction too, where they're on the edge of their seats waiting for that release. And they don't care about holiday noise at all. They care about that book that's coming out. So there are lots of reasons for why it can work really well for somebody who has an established audience and readers. And then it can work fine if you want to just finish this and it's part of your goal to have this book done and launch metrics don't matter to you, but finishing is a value to you. You might just want that project completed, and that's valid. You might need to adjust your expectations if you have them for visibility and sales. However, you can accomplish that goal and feel really good about the year. And this is why it's so great being an indie publisher, because you get to make the decision. Does it matter to me if I'm competing with holiday noise, or does it matter more to me that I'm finishing this goal I set out to do? Now, as we look at December, we also then have to look at January. Is it better? Yeah, it can be for some people, like I said. However, there are also reasons for why January is not ideal. One is that the bills hit in January and holiday overspending is real. People get that credit card statement and they're not about to drop $20 for a book right now. So impulse purchases are not there. And especially for readers who don't know you. And you may see slower traction. And not because your book is weak, but because their wallets are recovering. People are just done with spending for right now. The inbox fatigue also continues. They're still getting donation appeals, end of year summaries, that kind of thing. And sometimes people start January with the unsubscribe and delete, like clear out my inbox, is sitting down in their jammies on New Year's weekend. I've done this, so this is why I know that this can happen, where I'm like, I'm starting this year by unsubscribing to some stuff I don't need. So it might be your visibility goes down as well. And then January is also crowded in certain categories. So the productivity, wellness, Christian living, memoir, self-help, business, launching, all of that, the new year, new you stuff. there's a lot out there. You're really competing in those lanes. So unless your book is specifically tailored to something that has to release in January, it doesn't mean that the first week of January is the best option for you. So those are things for you to be thinking about and really processing through and deciding when you're going to release a book. The media calendar is also kind of backed up. So if you're somebody who knows that you have connections and you're hoping to get TV, radio, podcasts, the pitches that you need to do, you're going to have those lined up far enough in advance because um like podcasters are planning out their year and working on things. So it isn't golden. It has a different set of obstacles and you have to decide which one of these works best for you if you have a book that's going to be ready in this time frame. So how do you decide? Well, let's look at the simple framework. Launch in December if you already have an audience, you're prepping for a January push, you're okay with the quieter early sales, and your topic doesn't rely on holiday delivery. Avoid December if print timelines matter, or you need discovery, or you need a little algorithm lift. Reviews are essential to you, or you're planning media or podcast outreach, all of that. And same thing with January on that. Launch in January if your book fits the New Year theme. You want a clear overall runway to get into the new year, and you have the ability to warm up your audience in December. Avoid January if you think your audience might be price sensitive, or if you're in an oversaturated market, or if you're hoping for lots of impulse buys as the book comes out. Like I said, no month is perfect, but each one carries different risks. So, an actionable step for you today, ask yourself this question. If sales start slow because of holiday chaos or post holiday budgets, will I still feel good about my launch? So, you can ask that question and then evaluate which one of these might be the best for me, or you might decide to just let your book breathe a little bit and launch later in January so that a little bit of that New Year's noise is cleared out. I know a lot of people, once the book is ready, you just want to hit launch and go. And I understand that. It's really hard. Like I don't want to sit on it while I have it ready. It is there. I all I have to do is hit publish. It's ready to go. So it's completely up to you. If you're too excited and you just have to hit publish, that's fine. But if you let it breathe a little bit, you might just take that time. It might give you 6 to 8 weeks to do a little more on your marketing strategy. A lot of times we hit publish, and I like to do the soft launch. So I don't have a ginormous launch campaign strategy when I release a book, but there are some times where I think, if I had let that breathe a little bit, I probably could have come up with something that would have been a little bit better strategy. So if you do decide to hit pause and you wait to publish, set some goals for how you're going to use that, 4, 6, 8 weeks, whatever you have, to figure out some things that maybe you have some gaps in your marketing plan. All right. Well, I hope that answers some questions for you if you're wrestling with whether you should release a book in December or not. I want to thank you for listening, and you'll find lots of resources at Indie Author Blueprint on Substack, including bonuses for people who are paid subscribers. I'd love to have you as part of that list of paid subscribers. If you're looking for somebody who offers a mini course in publishing, that's the place for you. I'm giving you the things I've learned along the way, and it's $8 a month, so it isn't like you have to buy a big course or something like that. So I encourage you to go over there if that's what you're looking for. Thanks again for listening. There's a couple more episodes left in this year, and then we're looking ahead to 2026. Have a great day.